there are very few science fiction authors that I read, and I read the classic authors, the kind of people that influenced Elon Musk, for example, like Robert Heinlein. Grok is named after the way of knowing of a character named Valentine Smith, who is a messianic figure from Mars in a book called Stranger in a Strange Land. Right, so Grok is from a science fiction book written by Robert Heinlein, again, about Mars, about a messiah from Mars. You just can't make this stuff up. It's so absurd. The world is so absurd. But very few of those science fiction authors foresaw this hyper-connected reality that we live in, or the development of this autonomous electronic space it's already basically inhabited by life forms. I mean, it's a peculiar way of thinking about it, but OnlyFans women are not women. They're not. They're machine women
Andrew
hybrids.
Tate.
Right? Because you're, in a way, they've been, like, their value has been put on what they need to put out and what they have to provide.
Well, it's more than that. They've been commoditized. Okay, so one of the hallmarks of a disintegrating society is the commoditization of female sexuality. You see that there's an image in Revelation of the end of days. And the Revelation image is the scarlet beast of the apocalypse, which is a multi-headed figure that represents the degenerate patriarchal state. It's multi-headed because it doesn't know which way is up, right? It's postmodern. And so it's going every which way at once. And it's scarlet because that's the color of blood. So that's the degenerate patriarchy. Okay, on the back of the scarlet beast is the whore of Babylon. Why? Well, because when men disintegrate, so do women. Well, men disintegrate into a hydra-like mess of competing conceptual claims. That's the degenerate patriarchy with no uniting ethos. That's the death of God and the descent into postmodernism. Feminine degeneracy makes itself manifest as the commoditization of sexuality. Right, because there's no social forms to encapsulate sexuality and to orient it upward, right? So it wanders off on its own, you might say, and attempts to dominate. That's the whore of Babylon figure, right? So she's a very attractive, naked woman with a gold chalice full of despicable offerings. In the Revelation story, the beast kills the whore. So the degenerate state offers pleasures of the flesh and then destroys sexuality itself. And that's already happening because the birth rate's plummeted, the marriage rate is plummeted. In countries especially like Japan and South Korea, although it's starting to happen here, men and women are dividing politically, they're alienated from one another, they don't form long-term relationships. So,
I'm actually worried
and I was
about...
saying, sorry, just one more thing. The point I was making about the OnlyFans women is they're not. The reason I said they're not women is because no woman can be in 1 million bedrooms at once. That's not a woman, right? That's a machine woman hybrid, and we have no idea what a monster like that. We have no idea what a monster like that is.
What they can do, right? Absolutely.
Well, we have some sense of what it can do, right? Because we've seen
that's such a deep
Bonnie
thought.
Blue, for example. Right,
Yes,
who's planning, I believe, to sleep with 1,000 men.
Right.
Her mother is her business manager.
Right.
Yes, there's a fun story.
Yeah, a lot of these, I've seen some of these stories where a lot of these OnlyFans women who, are having these goals. I'm sleeping with 500 men in one night or 1,000. Their parents are on board and they're supportive and they're actively a part of their career, which I think is really heartbreaking. You know, I don't know how you could.
It's an abomination.
It is. It's literally an abomination.
It's an abomination.
Right. When the abomination of desolation is put in the highest place, it's time to head for the hills. And what that means is that when the worst of all possible things is elevated to the highest possible place, you know that destruction is coming.
Absolutely.
Right?
Every
Things are falling
time
apart.
a country starts messing around with that, the fall comes next. Every time.
Well, that's
terrifying.
I think of pride flags in the church as an indication of that precisely. It's like,
that's
pride is the cardinal Christian sin. If you go to Great Britain, to the Anglican churches, which have deteriorated substantially, like the Protestant churches in Canada, the pride regalia is much more pronounced than the Christian regalia,
But also look at their country; it reflects that.
Yes,
it
that's
reflects
for sure.
that. Their people reflects that. Their communication, their economy. There's a reason why everybody's trying to destroy America is because we're still the ones that's standing, at least waving the fact that Christ is king. And so, like, I believe that the reason that this country is blessed is because we're focusing on the fundamentals to build a country up. Like it or not, believe in Christ, don't believe in Christ, it's still a historical book. The ones who act in accordance of this man named Yeshua, they build up a land of milk and honey.
Yeah.
The ones who go against it and have pride.
So 100% of Catholic or Protestant majority countries that aren't in Africa are productive democracies. 100%. 3 of the Islamic countries are democracies, and barely 3, right? And the lot of them are radically unproductive. So there is something about, well, I've been trying to puzzle it out. The central doctrine of Christianity is that upward striving, voluntary self-sacrifice is the foundation of the community. And that's true. It's true, obviously. I mean, to the degree that you're serving your marriage properly, you're going to forego what's narrowly yours in favor of what is best for the two of you, but for the two of you as a foundation for family, let's say, but also for the two of you over the long run, right? You subordinate, sacrifice everything that's narrow to that end. Well, civilization is a sacrificial process. Society is a sacrificial process because for there to be a society, it can't be about me, right? If you and I are going to cooperate harmoniously and productively, you have to be part of that as much as me. Or maybe we even have to organize it so that because we're working together, it's more about both of us than it would be if we were operating separately, right? That's what you hope for in a marriage, is that, you know, you're better off together than you would be pursuing your own narrow goals separately. So one of the things that Christianity got right is that it dramatized the notion of voluntary self-sacrifice as the center point of community, right? That's why it's the altarpiece. That's why it's at the center of the church, and that's the center of the town. It's because civilization, society, is sacrificial.